What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to Redemption with Jaden. We're back with more Lackey Grand Prix gameplay on to round 4 of Lackey Grand Prix number 26, which means that this is the last round of Swiss, and I'm in contention still at this point for top cut. I'm playing Mr. BaboonyTim, and basically the winner of our game is, if it's a full win, would be the, I believe, second seed, based on how everything's shaken out at this point. We know that before this game we had known that E-Man was undefeated in Swiss. He has the first seed locked up. I think Tim had 2 wins and then a tie, and I'm at 2 wins and a loss right now. So I'm pretty close. I think maybe one other person would have 2 wins and a loss. Yeah, the winner of Micah and Josh's game, which Micah actually won. So he's taken down some. He took down Jay. He took down Joe Roberts, who I played earlier as well, and he took down Josh. So lost to E-Man. So he's secured into top cut as well, and then the result of Justin and Chad's game, Justin took that one. So then Justin, I believe, is locked in top cut as well, regardless of how this game ends up, and I believe that puts him in the 4th seed. So the winner of this game will be paired against Micah in the in top cut. So let's talk about what we're dealing with here, because as you can see, this is definitely a newer kind of off meta deck, or at least the defense is. We're using the new district promo, tribute to Assyria, one of the promos to have come out in the last few months. There were a handful of them that came out. We used Raiders Camp in a deck earlier. Was that last week or 2 weeks ago? I think it was last week. And now, we're getting tribute to Assyria in there. And the reason that I'm actually using this is because, it was last week that I was using Raiders Camp because I played it against Jay. And I honestly don't remember if it was included in the video or not. I think it was after the game, so probably. But we were talking about Assyrians. Jay brought up Assyrians as like an actual legit defense, and I was like, I don't know what you're talking about, bro. But then I started looking at some of the Assyrian stuff, and I was like, oh yeah, I kind of see what you're saying here. Like there's some goodies in the Assyrian lineup. In particular, what he pointed out was that King Tiglath-Pileser III works with A-Bomb. I don't think I'd put this together or like noticed this, but is one of the characters that can activate an idol from various locations. There are a few characters that do that. The Crimson Brown Outsiders, which I feel like we've seen in a number of decks, is probably the most popular one that's going around, but there are a handful of others as well. I mean, I guess maybe the next popular would be like Belshazzar's 1000, but that only goes from deck, I believe, not reserve. The Fallen King is another one. Tubal Cain, who actually might end up in a later version of this deck if there are later versions of this deck. That was something that I'd talked to Jay, talked with Jay about after the game that you're about to see. So Tubal Cain is pretty solid there because you can also go to reserve and then also works with other artifacts and weapons and such. But King Tiglath-Pileser III is kind of a powerhouse for the Assyrian defense. He's kind of the linchpin, which you sort of expect from a character with Unity for a defense like this. So he's got Unity, evil characters, Assyrian, and then he says, if blocking, opponent must capture their human hero, reserve their active artifact, or give you a city. Because there's not any part of this that's optional, then they can't just choose like, oh, I'll choose to give you a city if they don't have one. So you do have to have either an active artifact or a city to give. Otherwise, you have to capture your human hero, which can be really good on turn 1 especially if your opponent doesn't put any other heroes down, if they did happen to not activate an artifact, or if they do activate an artifact that's like a one-time use sort of thing, like something like A-Bomb where it moves itself, or if they do like Denarius to go get an Emperor and then they've already discarded it to draw 3, then they probably don't have a city, they won't have an active artifact, and you can just get a straight up capture, force them to capture their own hero in battle. And then also, second part of the ability, you may draw 1 or activate an idol from reserve. Look at that. It's just there. And like, that's something that there are some decent idols that would work with us before, but none that stacked up to A-Bomb. Like Ashura is decent, getting its ephod decent. Image of the Beast is maybe number 2 behind A-Bomb. I did have Ashura in the reserve initially. It ended up getting cut to move some other things around and make some space, because honestly I probably just want A-Bomb most of the time. But yeah, I think Ashura could be a decent option if you have particular decks or opponents, I guess, that you're running into that are running a lot of cannot be negated cards. So like a lot of the good chunk of the Daniel offense, at least Daniel and Michael, Daniel the Apocalyptist and Michael, but they're also going to be banding to other heroes that don't have negated in the special abilities. I guess Gabriel in there too. Nativity has a decent number of negated cards, so there are some offenses that you want it against, but it's that's why it's kind of a good reserve option, and it also works against cannot be negated, or works against negate neutral stuff, because it is itself cannot be negated. But anyway, ended up cutting it from this deck, this instance of this deck at least, and kind of went all in on the A-Bomb synergy there, and I thought that would be pretty cool. You also have Delivered with Malachite Slave here that can activate A-Bomb from reserve in a pinch. So that's an option. And then Endless Treasures, which can just get it each turn too. Endless Treasures also gets Confusion of Mind and Pharaoh's Curse. We have Assyrian Laborers, which can activate either of those as well. So there's more Assyrian tools. We've seen some of the shenanigans that the Rabshakeh can do in other decks, and so I did put Snatch Spear in the reserve here just for kicks and giggles. I didn't really expect to use it in a taunt, but it's still pretty good, even in a non-taunt. Like, you get to do the first part of the ability, the underdeck a good card, and then if their hand is protected, then they don't get to reveal their hand instead. So Rabshakeh is great for dealing with hand protection fortresses like Storehouse and Bethlehem Stable, or just dealing with other pesky things in their, particularly in their territory. But you can do stuff in battle too. You just have to be careful with special initiative and all that. I'm not running the Rabsaris in this version, which could be incorrect, but the Rabsaris he's the guy that can search for a couple of Assyrians, or you can ban to the Rabshakeh and or the Tartan and make both of them CBN. Making the Rabshakeh CBN is really good if your opponent has hand protection. So it might be worth it. It's probably would be better to have him in reserve than King Shalmaneser III, but that's we'll talk about him in a little bit, why he's in there. But so then the Rabshakeh, you can do that first part, and then you can equip an evil weapon from reserve or take a pale green enhancement from reserve. So the flexibility on this is really nice. I actually kind of forgot about the fact that he just takes an enhancement when I sent my initial deck list to Jay. Because I put the deck list together, I had it at 63 cards, and then I told Jay, like, here, bring this down to either like 50 or 57 for me. He was like, oh, I can get this down to 50, and ultimately I was like, I actually feel like I wanted it at 57, so he cut it down. He made some cuts that I was a little, he kind of pointed me in the right direction on some things. He did make some cuts, and then I had to make some swaps with some things that I didn't want to cut. And so I feel like it ended up being in kind of a nice compromise between the two directions that we were thinking of. Or, he had a certain vision for kind of how the Assyrians would go, and I had an idea of, I think, what he was thinking, but then also I had the wrong impression with the Rabshakeh because I was thinking it was just the equip and not the take, and I was relying on mounted forces for just the take. So there were some things that moved around, and I felt like it actually landed in a pretty good spot. I was happy with how things were spread out, having better to be slaves and scattered in the reserve is great options for the Rabshakeh to grab. And I mean, Pharaoh's Curse and Foreign Horses are also good, but Foreign Horses and Snatch Spear being the options for the Rabshakeh to just equip is nice. I did want to have, like, I initially had 4 or maybe even like 5 pale green weapons in here. They're a decent number of, I think because I had 2K horses, I had Egyptian horses, I had Egyptian Spear in there as well. Like Egyptian Spear just to put 1 hero in special initiative right away. Like if you can, I guess if you put them in special initiative with the Rabshakeh's first ability, then if they negate it, then you don't get to use the second ability. But if there are 2 heroes, then you can just put them in special initiative with the Rabshakeh, or just do Foreign Horses and play Scattered. But still, it's nice to have that other option to just put them in special initiative right away with the Egyptian Spear, and then he doesn't have a weapon on him, so you can just equip a different one next turn. I ended up cutting that for space as well. Cut 2K horses because I felt like Foreign Horses was going to be, I guess both Egyptian horses and 2K horses were cut because Foreign Horses is just better in 99% of cases. Or maybe 90% of cases. Egyptian horses is pretty good. But it's probably a better one to just be able to take with the Rabshakeh and then hang on to, so you can negate something. But we've got plenty of negates in this defense, so I felt like the play first was going to be more important. So yeah, the Rabshakeh's take is really nice. Mounted Forces take is really nice, and both of them work well with our kind of spotlight card here, Tribute to Assyria. Which says if you're loan OT pale green human blocks. So basically, if you're Assyrian or you're Egyptian blocks, or I guess there are some magicians, but anyway, opponent may give you a card from hand. If they do not, you may play an OT pale green enhancement. So for one, if they have hand protection, then you basically just get to block and play an enhancement right away, which is kind of nice. You can see that we don't really have that many great initiative characters in this defense. Like 3/8 is kind of the best. I guess Amalekite Slave is 4/4, so and that actually comes up during the game where I kind of forgot that Amalekite Slave would have gotten initiative during a block and would have let me get a DOU off. But anyway, so yeah, it's not, there's not a whole lot of initiative getting with this defense. I ended up cutting Assyrian Survivor, and there's one other small Assyrian officer, I think. There are a lot of them that I feel like I want to include, but yeah, it was kind of tough to cut it down. So yeah, the initiative isn't great, but we've got Rabshakeh to Foreign Horses I can play first, and then Tribute to Assyria. Going to be trying to pull that off. And if your opponent doesn't have hand protection, then they can just give you a card, and you're up a card, and just for the price of blocking, which is kind of nice. So we've got plenty of negates, so we don't always necessarily need to play an enhancement right away. But and it does have to be an OT pale green enhancement, so we can't just play Mask of Fear. But playing DOU, playing Offer of Exile, grabbing Scattered or Better to be Slaves from reserve, and then playing with Mounted Forces or the Rabshakeh, and then playing those off of Tribute, all really good options. It's really nice if you grab Scattered and your opponent has hand protection, so that basically just plays around like their dominance or something. Like if they are trying to just play an Angel of the Lord on your evil character before you get a chance to play an enhancement, then Tribute to Assyria can help out with that. The other thing that helps out with that, and what makes Assyrians a viably competitive defense, in my opinion, is Nineveh, which says while your Assyrian is blocking, restrict players from playing dominance. So this is interesting in a couple of ways, where for one, it's symmetrical, so it restricts both you and your opponent from playing dominance. So you can see I'm not really playing any evil dominance in this defense. We do have some that are kind of flexible that can be defensive, like Glory of the Lord and Grapes of Wrath. And then, of course, Crowd's Choice can be used as an evil dominant during battle. And, I mean, 3 woes, obviously 2, but Crowd's Choice is maybe the one that would come up more frequently. Well, I don't know. I guess they both could, but a lot of times, 3 woes will probably end up playing something as good, or maybe hitting something in their territory before battle. But you have that flexibility. Crowd's Choice 2, I guess, where it's actually kind of cool, because if you can play dominance up until the point where you put a character into battle. So it's not like Complacent, where it just restricts dominance during the battle phase, but I can actually just wait to see what my opponent does for their attack, and then play something like Woes or Crowd's Choice on something, and then block, which is pretty cool. But conversely, it also stops allows my opponent to attack with Woman with Child or Resurrection Revealer, or whoever, to look for their dominant that they want to play. In the case of playing against 100 card decks, a lot of times that's Harvest Time, sometimes it's Resurrection. I'm playing against Tim, so we know that 100 card deck is on the menu, and so because you don't have an evil character blocking at that point, then Nineveh doesn't stop your opponent from playing those. So there's a little bit of a balance there, but it is very interesting that it's symmetrical, so it's all dominance. It's not just good dominance. So if it was just good dominance, then that would be pretty good, like even better. And I think there is isn't there a Philistine effect that while your evil Philistine is in battle, restrict opponent from playing good dominance. If this was on a fortress instead of an artifact, I think it would be a lot better. I think it would be a lot more playable, but it is an idol, so it can be held in a fortress. Also negate heroes with toughness X or less can be decent, X the number of your evil Philistines. But just as an artifact, it's so much more targetable than like a fortress would be. Maybe if Philistines had like an activated idol character, something like King Tiglath Pleaser, then this would be good and playable. But it only restricts your opponents, and it only restricts good dominance. I don't think your opponent really, I don't think there are any evil dominance that it makes sense for your opponent to want to play during battle, except maybe Shipwreck or something. But even like a Woes, wouldn't really affect anything you're doing on the block generally. I guess they could play an evil Woes to negate like a Herod's Temple, but you don't really care about that when you're playing Philistines. So those kind of effects, they're fairly strong in the current meta, especially when you can put them out early. In this case, another thing that makes Nineveh good is that we have multiple characters in the Assyrian defense that can put Nineveh directly into play during battle. So Nimrod the Mighty is the kind of featured one here that I ended up including in this deck. So it's just search deck for an Assyrian, a Babylonian, or an OT fortress. Can also be a good fortress, which is kind of cool. And put it in play. You may discard an animal or take a single brigade site in opponent's territory. Cannot be interrupted. So probably not going to get too much value out of that second part these days. Not too many animals going around. There's a few, but there's no single brigade sites going around. But that first part is pretty significant, where one, you could just put one of your other evil characters into play. Putting Assyrian laborers into play is kind of cool. It's a reason why Confusion of Mind was originally in the reserve, and maybe could still be, but Confusion of Mind is much better to have turn 1 than Pharaoh's Curse is. So I decided to put Confusion of Mind in the main deck and Pharaoh's Curse in reserve, but Assyrian Laborers to put Pharaoh's Curse into play can still be pretty good. Or like Nimrod to put Assyrian Laborers into play to activate Pharaoh's Curse can still be pretty good. If I am thinking that I'm definitely going to be doing that, then I guess I could reserve my Confusion of Mind with Storehouse. But anyway, that's very situational play and would take a lot of foresight to predict that. But anyway, Nimrod is most likely going to be putting Nineveh into play. He's also good with putting Sheol into play. Assyrian camp is not terrible, but it'll very much depend on the matchup whether or not I want this as a fortress or an evil character. But anyway, the idea is to put Nineveh into play, stop my opponent from playing dominance, and then just have a bunch of negates because he's quite big. Or if I have tribute to Assyria, then I get to play something first. And it makes it pretty hard for them to deal with. The other options for putting Nineveh into play, like I mentioned, there are a few, and I only ended up actually including one, which was kind of a difficult decision. I wanted to have two, but that was one of the last cards I cut. Was King Sargon II, the Roots card, which, let's see, I guess I'll just pull it up. It's another way to put an evil fortress into play, an evil OT fortress into play, and then you can capture an evil human in a territory. And then the other one is King of Nineveh, right? Is it the King of Nineveh? Yeah, the King of Nineveh, who also lets you play Nineveh from deck. And then if an opponent has board advantage, they have to discard X evil card or X cards from territory. If Jonah is in play, convert the character to a hero after battle, cannot be negated. Jonah is in the deck, which actually was kind of almost a reason not to play him, because I didn't really want to convert him because I didn't really have enhancements to play on him, or like a way to band him into battle. I don't think. Yeah, not really. But the board advantage and discard thing is interesting, but the X is the number of opponents' evil brigades, which isn't usually a lot. I don't know. It was because I was anticipating the 100 card matchup, I did think about that aspect where this could be nice to kind of get me back into the game, but I really didn't expect him to be playing very many evil brigades on defense anyway. So yeah, it's just it can be good, and it's also cannot be negated, which is nice. King Sargon has no modifiers, so you don't get that aspect of it. But yeah, I ended up cutting both Sargon and King of Nineveh and just running Nimrod, and I really like the flexibility that he has to play other options like Sheol or one of my evil characters. So that just seemed like the best fit. And then I've got a Malachite Slave and Deceiver that can go get him, as well as Darkness. So I wasn't too worried about not having access to him turn one somehow. But obviously that's going to be a possibility, and it's going to be more likely when I only have the one of them in there. So there might be some changes to try to get two options for turn one Nineveh on a block if I feel like that's the meta dictates if I were to keep playing this deck, I guess. It kind of assumes that I'm going to keep playing this, which it was kind of fun. I'm interested in exploring this defense a little bit more. So anyway, probably enough about the defense. I should talk a little bit about the offense before we get into things. Part of the idea with the offense is that I was not going to be using any evil dominance, so I just went all in on the good battle dominance, because Nineveh doesn't work even if your opponent is playing Assyrians. It doesn't matter. It has to be your Assyrian that's blocking. So on offense, I'm going to be playing Glory, Grapes, Buckler, Angel of the Lord, pretty much all the good battle dominance that I can fit. And I could fit quite a few because I'm playing 57. So I get one extra there from a 50 card deck. And then the rest of the offense is just kind of getting value, getting basically just removing my opponent's options or limiting my opponent's options so that my dominance can be the most effective. So we're taking away their evil dominance with Cherubim, with Ezekiel, and we're restricting reserves. With Cherubim, we're restricting everything, including reserves, hands, decks, and reserves with Meshach. And we can get all of these characters into battle because we have Michael that can band to a Daniel Human and or an OT Angel. So we can do Cherubim to Daniel, Daniel to Michael, Michael bans to Meshach, and then bans to the other Cherubim. The other Cherubim bans to Ezekiel, and then, well, I guess you could just start out with Daniel, or you just start out with Michael. Michael goes to Daniel, Daniel to Meshach. Michael also goes to Cherubim, who bans to Ezekiel, who bans to Cherubim, who bans to Jeremiah to toss the next, or Elijah to choose the blocker. Or you can go to the Watchman and get either of those guys, or I guess not Elijah, but you can get Ezekiel or Jeremiah. Victorious Being also goes to a lot of these guys. Victorious Being to the Watchman to go get Daniel is really nice. Angel of the Winds is helpful just to start things off, or to go get Elijah or Jeremiah, however, doesn't really fit in the chain. And then Elisha is in reserve here to also help with the evil dominant thing, and we can get him out with Virgin Birth, which I haven't seen a whole lot of use of lately. I think people are maybe devaluing the star ability a little more compared to what they used to do, but I guess maybe it's still in most green decks that I'm seeing. I'm not seeing it in too many Daniel decks, which kind of makes sense. It's not a Daniel card. Even though it's white, it probably would fit well, but isn't maybe necessarily needed. But I don't know. I can still see it being used quite a bit. We got First Sacrifice to underdeck, whatever we need to limit their options. Then 20 shekels helps with the Elijah business, where if we have all these characters that are restricting or just kind of like manipulating your opponent's options in some way, then if we can force their option that doesn't work because of for some reason, like if they're running a Malachite slave, if we can put it in play with 20 shekels and then do the whole band, get Meshach into battle to protect their deck, then use Elijah to choose a Malachite slave, then they're stuck with a very suboptimal evil character in battle. So we have lots of ways to deal with their dominance, lots of ways to manipulate their options, get rid of deck protection. That was kind of another big thing. Make sure that their deck isn't protected so that Meshach can have its full effect. And that usually is accomplished pretty easily between Daniel negating fortresses and cards like Blind and negating Crowd's Lost Soul. Sheol can also underdeck Crowd's Lost Soul. Of course, Son of God can rescue it. Three Woes can negate it. So we can fairly consistently or reliably, I guess, deal with my opponent's hand and deck protection while we're making this attack. So I think this offense is pretty solid. I like the way that it played, especially in this deck where I'm using all these good battle dominance, which I haven't done in a while. Like, it's been a while since I've built a deck that's like this, where I'm actually running Angel of the Lord, I'm actually running Grapes of Wrath, and Buckler here too, to get a little bit of that. I mean, it's not as much of a battle winner in this deck as it is just consistency, getting stuff out. Getting Angel Chariots out to put on Michael is pretty nice, or even Victorious Being. But just to start kind of snowballing a little bit with the offense. All right. We're running out of voice here, so I should probably wrap this up. So I've been going for a little while here. We've got Faith Unbowed that we can also help with the offense, grab it out of reserve with Storehouse, but I'm not even positive it needs to be in here. After we play some more games, then maybe we'll see. But yeah, I don't know, it seemed like the offense is not going to be depending on good enhancements a whole lot, but it's always good to have that, especially in these matchups with against big decks. It's hard to know how much you're going to need in any given game. So yeah, I think that's probably the right slot for now, but maybe could be another evil enhancement if I actually get Tribute to Assyria to work out. All right, I talked about a little bit about the defense. I think I talked about pretty much everything in the reserve except the evil characters. So I mentioned this guy before. He just seemed like a good late game option because you get the decrease, and the number of good brigades in your opponent's discard pile can get pretty big pretty quick, especially toward the late game. But then also the banish up to X good cards from a discard pile. I don't really expect people to expect that effect from this deck. And so if somebody plays their Son of God early, especially because I'm playing some annoying or kind of, threatening Lost Souls like Blind, Color Guard, Distressed, Humble, Wicked, these are ones that your opponent will want to get off the table early for some reason or another. And so if they play their Son of God, they don't have Second Coming yet, then you can kind of get a sneak attack with King Shalmaneser. Although now that I'm telling everybody and kind of showing you what Assyrians are capable of, then you'll be aware of that. So you're welcome. If you're, if you run into an Assyrian deck, keep an eye out for this guy. Probably in their reserve, but maybe someone's crazy enough, put him in the main deck and really surprise him. And then the Tartan, great lurking target, interrupt the battle and abandon the Tartan. You can either negate the enhancement that they played and then capture a territory class character, or you can negate something else and then discard the enhancement that they played, and then you can ban to a generic Assyrian, which in this deck is just Assyrian laborers or mounted forces, but then mounted forces can ban to someone else, and I guess Assyrian camp also, which kind of nice, especially if you were like playing against Nativity. They have a decent number of multi-brigade enhancements, and then pretty much any of the like Old Testament offenses right now, they're not running very many meek heroes, and they have a few multi-brigade enhancements. Like in Joshua, there's the gold silver ones. I guess the one of them is CBP, but the one that people use is not, so that can be good. Faith Unbowed, Daniel's Prayer, getting used quite a bit. So yeah, there's a few enhancements that it hits, but then also just negating characters and territories and Lost Souls can be pretty good. A little bit of a Nambo with Jonah and a little bit of Assyrian laborers, but it's one of those things where it works well either way, so you just play it whichever way makes sense in that in the context of that game. All right, now for the big announcement that came out just this week, a few days ago here, the Redemption National Tournament announcement or like information has been posted. If you were, if you had the opportunity to read through this and look through the article a little bit, you will see that I am part of the hosting team for Nationals this year, which I'm super excited about. I actually helped put together a large portion of this schedule and like information page. John Hendricks is also part of the hosting team, and he did the intro information here. And of course, the other guys got together to put all of this, kind of figure out all of this information. And I was just the one to put it all in this format for everyone to look at and to look forward to everything that's going to be going on at the Redemption National Tournament. So here is kind of, well, first and foremost, there is an option to pre-register. So if you are ready to do that, you can go ahead and pre-register through Tim's tournament tracker, the Land of Redemption tournament tracker. Put all your information on there, what categories are going to be playing. Do this before June 1st, and you will receive a custom name tag, which will be pretty sweet. I can guarantee you that. I think we might be spoiling what those will look like in the not too distant future here. So look forward to that. And then the official events, there's just some information there. And then the schedule, a few things that are I want to point out. I'm not going to go through everything, but the few things I wanted to point out were that Wednesday night, we're going to be getting the festivities started. There are no official events on Wednesday night, but we will be having a worship service at the venue, which I'm pretty excited about. Kind of helping to organize that, make sure that we have everything in place for that. And then we're going to be having an elder address, which the exact format of that is still in discussion. We have confirmation from a subset of the elders that they will be willing to sit down. They're going to be answering questions or just kind of talking about the game, like, where are we at now? if the new set is released at Nationals, then maybe they'll be talking about that, some of the development and stuff there, and then kind of the vision for the future, all sorts of topics. It will all be kind of determined going into it. There might be time for like Q&A sort of things, but I don't. So yeah, it's kind of all going to be new and not entirely sure how it's going to look, but I think it will be cool, and maybe the idea, I guess, as the hosting team, we were going to bring this up as maybe it'll be possible to make this kind of a more regular thing, where like every Nationals, there's kind of this time where the elders are just kind of like talking to the community as a whole. Obviously they can do that through videos or through Discord and those kind of things, making announcements, but doing it in person at the biggest redemption event of the year just seems like a really cool thing. And who knows, maybe Rob will join in if he's there at that point, or we can try to make it as special as possible with what the elders and higher up people will join us for, are willing to do for that. So I think that will be really cool. And then right after that, we're going to be doing the Nationals Fantasy Draft at the venue. So it'll be live for everyone who's at the venue at that point. We'll be live streaming it as well, or at least that's the plan. So anyone who's not at Nationals or hasn't gotten there yet will still be able to join in the festivities. But if you are pre-registering, you can elect to be a draftable player in the fantasy draft, and all players who opt in will be entered into a drawing for a box of the new set, even if they're not drafted. So that's something that we noticed last year, is that it seemed like players were not selecting that option because they either didn't know what the fantasy draft was, or they just didn't think that they would be drafted. And I think that, if you're planning on being there at Nationals, you're playing in some number of events, you should elect to be drafted. Even if you're only playing in one event, that's fine. If you're you're based on the way that the draft works, the players, I don't want to get too much into it, but you score points based on your performance in each category that you play. So the more categories you play, the more opportunities you have to earn points for your team. And if you are not sure of anything that I'm talking about, you can check out the videos in the links on the article here. But anyway, it's been really fun the past few years, and the more people that we have that sign up to potentially be drafted, the better we can make that experience. I think better, the more the merrier in that case, as with many cases. So I think incentivizing the participation there is a great idea, and so I'm glad that we are doing that. So there will be a drawing, so even if you're not drafted, you could still win. So if you are pre-registering, I don't think there's any reason for you not to elect to be an eligible draftee. So I would do that, unless you're like, you don't want the spotlight at all, you don't even want to risk it. That's okay. But if that's the case, then there's it seems like a likelihood that you probably wouldn't get drafted anyway, because a lot of the people that have been drafted historically are people that are already somewhat known, I guess, just because of who the drafters are. But if the drafters are doing their homework, then maybe they'll be looking at people who are, they've been doing well in their tournaments over the season, and will, score good points for their team. So anyway, I just wanted to point that out. We're going to be doing the Ironman side event going throughout the weekend. Andy from Your Turn Games is going to be doing that. And then we've got our schedule of the events for each day, including another side event, the Paragon side event that Kurt Hake is going to be organizing. So details on that will follow as we get closer to it, but just keep an eye on Paragon. I think it'll be I still haven't tried it yet, but I'm excited about the format as as it stands and want to try it out. I think it seems like fun, and I just gotta kind of figure out the time or the right context to actually try it out with some folks. Payment options, venue information, some pictures of the venue, and some other lodging information like the official hotel, where you can get a discount, but these are limited as far as like the number that are available. I don't know if that's something that we can extend. Like if we meet the limit right away, can we reach out and get more rooms reserved? I'm not positive on that, but if we get to that point, then we will certainly investigate and look into that. But if you're worried about getting in on the group rate, then it's probably best to try to pre-register as early as you can. And there's information if you are looking to book with the group rate through that, then you want to contact Brian and get kind of that information. He can send you the document that gives you the code and whatever that you need to do that. Other hotels, then for travel stuff, we're going to be having some shuttles that will be going back and forth from the airport, from the Greyhound bus station. We're going to be trying to schedule these very efficiently, so it's important that you contact Brian to make sure that he knows, when you're getting there, where you're coming, where you're going to be, whether it's the airport or the bus station. And then there will also be a shuttle back and forth from the official hotel each day. So if you are coming by yourself, you don't have a car, you don't want to rent a car because it can be expensive, you can stay at the hotel or at the venue, of course, but then get transportation back and forth as needed. And for food, there's going to be lunch at the venue each day. We haven't determined what the menu will be yet. I think maybe for one day it's been determined so far. And I won't spoil it for you, but I will say that I'm looking forward to the lunches. I think they're all going to be pretty good. Brian's working on coordinating that. I mean, they're usually fairly reasonably priced. And then, of course, there'll be snacks and drinks available throughout the tournament. We've got a few options for off-site stuff as well. People at Nationals generally like to go out to dinner with a few of their friends or too many of their friends. I've been there where we just we get so many people going that it's like we need to split up to a few different places that we don't make our servers dislike us. But definitely some good places that are close, especially if you don't have a car. There's a few within walking distance as well. And we'll have some vendors there. Rob will have, he plans to be in attendance at this point. So, of course, plans can change. Rob's a busy guy. He's got other events and things that may take priority, but usually he hopes to be there at least for some amount of the time. And we have confirmation that he's planning to have new cards available for purchase. But they may not be what you think. I don't know if we haven't gotten all the details on that as the hosting team even yet. So there are some things up in the air. It may not be the new set, or it may not just be the new set, or something. I don't know. This is what kind of the information we were given, and the way that it was presented, I guess. So we'll see what happens. I'm sure more information will come out before Nationals, but if it's a surprise, that's cool too. Andy will be there with Your Turn Games, and if any of the other vendors out there would like to set up a table at Nationals, you can contact Brian and we can help make sure that you have some space available to do that. And there's also some other local attractions that you can check out. Like if you're making this a family vacation or something, and you're bringing along your non-redemption playing relatives, which it's okay, we love them too, then there are plenty of things to do around the area, especially if you like horse racing. If you I don't know what else, or I haven't really looked into all these things, so I don't know what else Kentucky has to offer, but I know horse racing is a big thing. bourbon is a big thing if you're into that. But yeah, other than that, I'm just looking forward to seeing all you folks, to playing some Redemption and having some good fun, eating some good food, and playing the game that we all love. So I'm hoping that you all will be able to go. And if you haven't been to Nationals before, it's a great experience. We kind of just call it a family reunion of getting all those people together that you only see maybe once or twice a year if you're able to get to some of the other bigger tournaments. But this is the one to get to. You don't have to have much experience. You don't have to have any experience, really. Like, there are people there that will be willing to teach you the game and get you started, and just learning. Playing booster draft and sealed deck, or you don't have to have a deck built beforehand, are great options for that as well. And if you're happen to be an older player that hasn't played in a long time, but you're watching this video somehow, then I want to see you there too. I think we're going to have a good turnout for this national tournament, and I'm looking forward to all of the fun parts of it that we're going to be putting together for this year. So as of this recording, where I'm at right now, 167 days, 16 hours, 51 minutes, and 45 seconds to doors open on Wednesday night. So I'm looking forward. I'm probably going to be checking this countdown timer more often than I realistically need to, but just for the hype, it's cool. All right, before we get into the game with Tim, of course, as always, this video and all our videos are sponsored by Your Turn Games, and like I said, there'll be a Nationals. Andy, at least, I don't know if Kelsey will be coming as well, but that would be cool. Bring the kiddos too, I don't know. But at least Andy plans to be at Nationals, have stuff set up there. But in the meantime, I believe there are still some mystery packs available. He even said that whoever buys the last 10 would get the 11th and last pack free. So I guess there are 11 left. So you can buy 10 and get the 11th one free. That would be the mystery packs are like an incredible deal. So there's so much value that he's shoving into these. So even if you don't buy them, it'd be worth it to just give him a shout out of like his generosity toward the community. I think that what he's doing with this is really cool. It's getting some of his product kind of churned around or kind of through the market and changing hands a little bit. But also, he's doing it at a rate that's very affordable for what you are getting out of it. So it's definitely a good deal to take advantage of that, especially if you're buying 3 or 5 of them and you're getting a little discount there. Of course, he's still got the hats, and he has the Redemption Cube that I mentioned last week as well. So go ahead and head over to Your Turn Games to meet all of your Redemption supply needs. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the game with Tim.
Sweet.
Alrighty. He didn't decide to try out a 50 card deck to play against me.
50 card decks, man. I can't remember the last time I played a 50 card deck, if I'm being honest with you. Alright, let's see.
Yeah, rolled a solid 1.
I will choose to go first.
Alright. How did you roll already? Okay, yeah, I see. 3. Okay. Alright.
Am I good to resolve my stars?
Yep.
Alright, first things first, I'm going to take a look at your reserve.
Cool.
Some spicy. Gotta read. Gotta read what these cards do.
Yeah, I suppose if I wanted a fast game, I should have played more familiar cards.
Okay, thank you. And then I would like to top deck a dominant from each hand.
Mm-hmm.
Do your hand first. Top deck that one.
Seems good.
Man, this is spicy.
I got some.
And then I will reveal my hand, because I don't have a dominant.
Alright. Cool.
And then I will play a Meek Disciple from my deck. And then I will draw 2 cards.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, do you have any stars you'd like to activate?
Just the one. I was kind of hoping that I'd get to hit a dominant off the top, but I guess you would have shuffled it and drawn or something.
Right, you hit a Spirit as a Dove, which is as good as a dominant.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Alright, so now Souls, I got a Dole going. You got a Hopper and a Color Guard. Alrighty. Am I good to begin my turn?
Yep. Take us away.
Start off with a Pita.
Mm-hmm.
And Golgotha, go to deck. Grab this guy.
Yep.
And then put this here. And I think I'm interested in going to battle now.
I will allow it. What you got?
Okay. Angel of the Winds to deck.
No.
For Matthew, convert him to Meek to reveal your hand.
Drew into away to Matthew, huh?
Alright, we got 4, 5.
I think so, yeah. Which is honestly not bad for a delivered hand, so I'll take it.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright, that is my attack. You may block.
Alright, did you like to reveal your hand? With open hand?
No.
Okay. Alright, so I know you've got Untouchable. Interrupt and Bounce. Yeah, I guess we'll go with the Deceiver. And let's see what we want here. Yeah, it's not as good, I guess. Yeah, I'll just go with let's thin out the deck a little bit. Let's go with Malachite Slave. Capture to you. And get Nimrod. It's going to put a Sheol into play. And you don't have any single brigade sites for me to take or animals for me to discard, so that is it for Nimrod.
Right. Am I good to play enhancement?
Sure.
Okay. Let's see. I will interrupt the battle and convert you to a Blue Brigade hero.
Right. That'll work. wonder. I guess, yeah, I could have done that. Oh well. Which is more important here? Feels bad, but I feel like I gotta give you the humble. I feel like, yeah, I'll give you the humble and regret it later.
All right. That down. Put that down. Put that down. And I will pass my turn to you.
Alright, draw 3. It's not terribly helpful. Alright. Let's do... Yeah, alright. I'll put down Nineveh as a fortress. Kind of tempting with only one lost soul to occupy it, but play to the site. Let's put down Assyrian laborers, and we'll activate Confusion of Mind from hand.
I will not be discarding.
Okay. I will then play Delivered. Go to deck. Let's go and get... yeah, I kind of want to see what you got. Let's go and get 20 shekels. We'll bounce Nimrod. And take a peek. Alright. Got an Emperor. And... okay. Let's put down... None of these are all that enticing, but I guess we'll just put down Emperor Augustus.
Okay.
And yeah, I think with that I just gotta pass a turn.
Okay. If you are disoriented, I'll have disoriented negate your shield.
Okay.
Activate my artifact, or I'm gonna go to upkeep. I'm gonna have my imitate copy the dole. Okay, and then I'll go to activate my artifact. Activate Daenerys. I'll take Evil Rowan from my deck. Am I good to discard Daenerys?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, I'll discard Daenerys, draw 3. I will play my territory class card for turn, revealing 3 woes. To protect lost souls from evil cards and disciples from harm. And then I would be interested in going to battle.
Sure. Yep.
I will push a Meek John into battle. Your block.
Meek John, huh? Um, Alright, I think I would like to play a dominant if that's cool with you.
Yeah.
I'll play in Evil Woes. I will negate Disoriented. Turn my shield back on. Alright, still good to block.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do... Mounted forces, and I will take Better to be Slaves from my reserve.
Yep.
My initiative.
Yep.
Play Better to be Slaves. Capture Akeem, Joseph, and Joanna, I guess.
Okay.
And draw 3. And then that's a little unfortunate. Kind of funny though. Okay, if I do that, what are the odds that you have enough? I will activate Shield. Gonna go out on a limb here. We'll see if it works, or see if it pans out. So banish delivered. I'm going to add the Rabshakka. Under deck a good card. There are no targets on either side, so would you like to reveal your hand instead? Okay. I will equip an evil weapon from reserve, which will be foreign horses. So I get to draw 2. A little bit late for that one, huh? And then play an evil enhancement, which will be Sennacherib Blasphemes. Also no targets for that, but I guess I can negate Peter. And then ban 2 Nimrod, who will go to deck. Let's put... guess it doesn't really matter. Put King Tiglath into play.
Okay.
And... yeah, that's... maybe I should have done it that way. But yeah, that's all my stuff. Your initiative.
Okay. I will die.
Cool.
I'll discard that.
What a weird world we live in of just discarding artifacts.
I'll pass my turn to you.
Alright, we got distressed. No, well, yeah, I guess I'll use the star on Jerry. Negate Lost Souls.
Okay.
Let's see. Woes is evil. Let's negate. Negate it anyway. No good targets for my woes. Let's just negate your disoriented still, I guess. I don't know, whatever. And then we'll do 20 shekels to bounce the Rabshakeh. Take a peek. I will put your outsiders in play. And then let's do Jeremiah. I'm going to play the first sacrifice to negate your dull, and I'm going to underdeck woes from your hand.
Alright.
Put the Rabshakeh back down. Is this gonna work? Maybe. Alright, so we gotta do Son of God on Dull, I guess. And I'll play Second Coming to grab it on Imitate. Just to make sure, I'm gonna put Foreign Horses on King Tig and go to battle if that's good with you.
Yeah.
Go with Elijah and choose outsiders to block.
I'll search my discard pile, activate this.
Yep.
I will reserve this to discard your Elijah. Oh wait, he's protected, so I'll reserve this to discard your Jeremiah.
Yep. Sorry, Jerry.
Alright, it is your... It's my initiative, actually.
Yep.
I will die.
I guess I could have kept Jerry in hand and just played for sacrifice on Elijah, but here we are. I will pass the turn.
Okay. Draw 3. No stars. I will... pass my turn to you.
Okay. Let's move woes to Mary, I guess. Oh, sure, that works. Yeah, we'll do 20 shekels, bounce King Tig again, and see what you got. Got a star, no nativity heroes. Okay. Deceiver. Okay. Oh, sorry, I have to put somebody into play. I'll just put down your Deceiver. And then with, yeah, Confusion of Mind. I guess, yeah, you only had one enhancement.
Discard
oh, you
this.
can do that too, right? Yeah, yeah. Okay. Fair enough. That's good. Put down Cherubim. I'll play Daniel's Prayer.
Mm-hmm.
Go get Michael.
Yeah.
And I would like to go to battle.
Okay.
Go Michael. Band to Cherubim. Band to Elijah. And choose Archelaus.
Alright, I'd like to discard a good card from your reserve.
Yep.
I'll choose him.
Okay.
Alright. Is it my initiative?
Yes, sir.
I will die. Where'd that hopper go?
Oh. I put it in my discard. I keep doing that. Okay, there we go. Alright. Do I do that? Probably.
My turn?
No. I'm gonna figure out who I want to put this foreign horses on. I think I should have it on somebody. Let's go with... Let's go with mounted forces. And then, yeah, I'll pass turn.
Alright. Got some stars. Play Lost Soul from my deck. Seems decent.
Gross.
And then I'll discard you a card from your reserve.
Mm-hmm.
I'll pick off that scattered.
Okay.
Alright. What to do?
I don't like this shift from me negating your characters to you negating my characters.
Alright, I'm ready to battle.
Alright, let's do it.
Warrior Child coming in hot. Gonna grab the Resurrection, play it.
Mm-hmm.
Grab that.
That is the downside of Nineveh. Having to...
Yeah. Don't think I have any empty Tomb Heroes in deck. Unfortunately. Okay, now we're gonna band. Okay. First things first, I'm going to convert Matthias to Meek to bounce Matthew.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to reveal. So then Peter's going to convert to Meek to play good Disciple or good Fortress from deck. And then I'll ban to Matthew. Matthew will convert to Meek to reveal your hand.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. So that's how many?
Just 7.
7, okay. And reveal to others.
Modest 7.
And reveal to others, none. Okay, I'll draw 7. 1, 2, 3. Alright, and then I think if I want to do anything else here. And it's full of defense. What am I gonna do? I just don't know what the Assyrians are capable of. That's the thing. I think I'll just play Glory and see what you can do to that.
Interesting. Getting my characters and stopping my enhancements. I don't like it. Well, it does make me feel a little better that I don't think Humble would help me in this case. Is that worth it? No, yeah, that's prevented. Okay. Maybe I just do that. Let's do the Ramshaka. I would like to underdeck your underdeck Bethlehem Stable. And I will take Pharaoh's Curse from my reserve. Oh, right, yeah. Okay. I was thinking I'd messed up there, but the glory is still good. So, okay. Yeah. I would then like to die, because we can't play enhancements, we can't play dominance.
Sounds good.
You can have a game.
Alright, I'll put down that. Play this. Go to deck for this. What else? Put him down. Put him down. Put him down. Put him down. And I will pass the turn to you.
Chip. Draw 3. Alright, we got my woes as evil. I think we gotta move that over to this little accusers there.
Okay.
And then let's do let's do 20 shekels to bounce Elijah. Let's see what you got.
Alright.
Okay, as it all comes down. Let's do. Yeah, I'll activate Pharaoh's Curse on Assyrian laborers, and I will underdeck it to underdeck Woman with Child.
Okay.
And then I will put down King Tig, and I would like to go to battle.
I would like to play Dominant. I'll play this as good. Grab grapes and say, come on in.
Grapes.
Come on in, the water's fine.
You say that, but somehow don't know that I believe you. Grapes, you say. Yep, I'm good with battle.
Right.
Let's do Victorious Being. I will draw one. Go to deck for the Watchman. Gate he will search and shuffle, exchange with Daniel. Daniel will ban to Michael. Michael will ban to Cherubim and Meshach.
Yep.
Meshach will draw 3.
Okay.
And Cherubim, I guess it's not optional, so I'll just take a look at your hand and make sure that I'm not crazy. Okay.
So if you have Mike Meshach protecting decks and I try to grapes, what happens?
I don't think anything. I don't think Meshach affects grapes. You can still shuffle stuff
So if I
into your deck.
grapes, it would shuffle your guys back in.
Right, yeah.
Okay. Just checking.
And then Elijah is going to choose Emperor Augustus, who is then going to become.
Do you have a New Testament card in your hand?
He's negated by Daniel, right?
Oh, okay. Yeah. It's a good game.
Good game. I yep, had to risk it, and I drew the Angel of the Lord off the Meshach there.
Yeah, nice.
I figured I could hit Crowd's Choice or Meshach. So I mean, odds weren't terrible, but
I'd have blow the Crowd's Choice to get around Cherubim anyways.
right, yeah. Yeah, I figured that was the impetus there.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't really do anything this game. I had some good attacks, but
Yeah, the confusion of mind was I feel like came at just the right time. I mean, going first and getting it active then would have been nice, but yeah, I kind of was able to slow you down enough to sneak in a few cheesy rescues with Elijah.
cool deck, dude.
Yeah, thanks. It was the Assyrians were sort of Jay's suggestion, or not like suggestion for our game or anything, but just like it was. We were talking last week after our game, and he mentioned that he was kind of looking at Assyrians, and so then he got me looking at them, and so I built it and I put together and sent it to him, and he made a few suggestions, helped me get it down to 57. But yeah, I think Nineveh is pretty sweet, kind of sneaky good.
Pretty good.
Especially with Nimrod, he got. I had King Sargon in here, ended up cutting him. He can put Nineveh into play too, and then King of Nineveh is another option. But I guess it did come back to bite me in the fact that I couldn't play grapes on either that first attack or that attack where I think you came in with John, or no, maybe it was the very first attack. I don't know. Yeah. And then also the one where you gloried beforehand. It's like, oh, if I could just play grapes here, that'd be great. But and have a non-Assyrian. All right. You had 2, right?
I got 2.
Okay. All right. Well, good game. I got some goodies to open up here. Hopefully I get yours soon.
All right. Good luck.
All right. We'll catch you later.
Bye.